And the Bears are still pretty steamed at the odds makers, who don't really like them much against the equally inept Lions on Sunday. And as Brad reports, with the season already on ice, the players just keep freezing out the reporters.
The Bears may have something left in the tank for Detroit, but that tank is running dry when it comes to the media. The locker room interview sessions have become a running joke. The media shows up, most of the players don't. But sometimes the Bears find the media useful.
Lovie brought in the newspaper today and showed us that we're 6-point underdogs to another 5-9 team, and that's not getting respect.
Lovie shows you guys newspapers?
Never. Actually, he never really does that. That's one of the first times he's ever done that.
How about TV stuff?
I use anything that I possibly can when I can.
Does he ever show you the good stuff? I mean, maybe that's why some of you guys don't want to talk to us.
I think he tries to use it more as a motivational thing.
Some of the media you really don't want to talk to, but not all of them. Like 99%. I mean, they're pretty good. They're 99%. They're pretty good, and they try to report what's right. Just that 1%, you know, and it gets rough. Gets rough at times. For me, mine's 100%. Actually, I mean, I love all of them.
Merry Christmas to you too.
Yeah.
Alex Brown is among a handful of starters who makes himself available to the media on a consistent basis, which explains why you see so much of the same players. From Hallis Hall, Brad Palmer, ABC 7 News. This will be Chad Hutchinson's 5th start for the Bears, and while he remains a work in progress, he's already won the admiration of the only person who counts.
He's done nothing but move up in our eyes. He's a competitor, great size, good arm, likable guy. Teammates love him. What is there not to like?
Well, I'd have to say Chad's passing efficiency. Lovie's a bottom-line guy, and here's the bottom line. Chad and the Bears as a team both averaging just 4.1 yards a pass play. That's dead last in the league, well below the league average of 6.2, and about a light year behind Peyton Manning's league-leading 8.7. Even more disconcerting is that Chad's numbers have been decreasing steadily. Against Minnesota's 25th pass defense, he averaged 5 yards a pass play. A week later, 4.7 against Jacksonville. After that, 4 yards against Houston. Last week, just 2.8 against the Detroit pass defense that ranked only 20th.
The explanation for that, Brad, is, you know, there are some passes farther down the field that we have called. And if into a cover, you have to dump the ball off. And sometimes you don't get a lot of yards with that. You can't hold that against you know, that's the circumstances dictated that. That's how I look at that.
Interestingly, the Bears were right at the league average in Rex Grossman's 3 starts. So if the problem isn't just the quarterback, what else is it? Well, Lovie's very good at telling us what the problem isn't, but he won't say what the problem is. And I guess that explains why his players like him so much. From Hallis Hall, Brad Palmer, ABC 7 News.
Well, just because the Bears season is over doesn't mean that we can't get a read on the team for next season. So with that in mind, Brad Palmer, who is the expert on Chicago's NFL team, has some thoughts on the firing of Terry Shea and some of the changes to be made for next year.
To me, the firing of Terry Shea was little more than a knee-jerk reaction by an organization that's taken to grasping at straws and finding a scapegoat for one horrendous decision, that being the decision to open the season with 3 quarterbacks with a combined 6 NFL starts. The Bears didn't want an experienced veteran competing with Rex Grossman for the starting job, so Terry Shea recommended Jonathan Quinn because Quinn at least knew the system. Lovie Smith endorsed it, and Jerry Angelo signed off on it. But it was Shea who was left holding the bag. Not only did the Bears dump him, they're dumping his system. The system worked when Rex was in there. In his 3 starts, the Bears averaged nearly 32 runs a game, 7th in the league, nearly 7 yards a pass play, 8th in the league. Only 4 teams finished the season ranked in the top 10 in those 2 key stats, and all 4 are Super Bowl contenders. With Quinn, Krenzel, and Hutchinson, the Bears averaged less than 26 runs a game and only 3.5 yards a pass play. They also averaged only 3.5 yards a running play, compared with nearly 5 yards a run in the 3 games with Rex. With the Bears unable to pass effectively on any down, defenses overplayed the run and then blitzed with abandon on 3rd and long. You can't run if you can't pass, but with Rex, the Bears could and did. But now Lovie wants to go back to being a run-first team.
As I've said all along, I would like to be a run-first team.
And yet Lovie hired an offensive coordinator whose philosophy was to pass 60% on first down. Lovie says he'll get it right this time. Well, I think he had it right the first time, but rather than stay the course, he's reached for the panic button. I'm Brad Palmer, ABC 7 News.
There are three things in life that are absolute: death, taxes, and the professor is never wrong. That's sports.
Media controversy with the Bears today.
Yeah, I think it was just Musa Muhammad just having a little bit of fun.
I think the professor was having a little bit of fun.
Oh, the professor was right in the middle. He was just enjoying all of it. Bears travel to Baton Rouge to meet the Saints and get Thomas Jones back from the injured list. In the locker room at Hallis Hall today, receiver Muhsin Muhammad called to task a newspaper reporter. ABC 7's Brad Palmer was right in the middle of it all.
The Bears are obviously feeling better about themselves these days, but not everyone was smiling for the cameras. Muhsin Muhammad took issue with Brad Bigg's story in today's Sun-Times under the headline, "Muhammad Frustrated," and asked me to read it.
Stop right there. Well, keep going, keep going.
Muhammad's body language, if not his words, has expressed the frustration of a player who has been reduced to mediocre numbers.
Okay, let's stop right there. Did you guys know that Brad can read bodies? Brad, come on over here. Brad, this is destroying our relationship. We can't have bad reporting. This is bad reporting, Brad. The fans really need to know the truth, so tell the fans the truth, Brad. We want to see a reprint of the article next.
A reprint? You want to see it again?
If I'm a fan or someone just reading the paper and I pick it up, to me it says that, you know, even though the Bears are in first place in their division, Muhammad just cares about his own personal stats. And that's not true, Brad.
I watched you last year, man. You're one of my favorite receivers last year.
You're awesome, too.
This year, you're one of my favorite guys.
I love you, too, Briggs. Oh, man, I mean, this is classic stuff.
The whole incident was really classic. Brad Biggs played me the tape of his conversation with Moose following Sunday's game. Moose did say he was somewhat frustrated getting open, not getting the ball, but with the Bears winning, he certainly doesn't want to be perceived as being totally frustrated. From Hallis Hall, Brad Palmer, ABC 7 News.
Sunday's season ender in Minnesota doesn't mean anything at all for the Bears or Vikings, but it certainly means something to the professor, and that's all that counts. He can set a career record of 14-2 with the right pick. He can tie his record, actually. And today he got some inside information to add to his equation.
The odds makers have made the Vikings a 4-point favorite for this game, figuring the Bears won't play all their regulars and that the ones who do start won't play that much, and that appears to be the case. Rex Grossman has been getting 90% of the reps in practice, but it's because he needs the work and not to get him ready for Sunday. He'll start, but Kyle Orton will do most of the playing.
Yeah, it's it's tough because I'm not getting the reps in practice. I'm getting limited reps, and still trying to get Rex ready to go. But I assume I'll play quite a bit next week, or this week. So I'm excited. I'm excited to get back on the field and be in a position to play loose and play aggressive, and it's kind of the mindset that I'm going to take.
Look for Minnesota's defense to be just as aggressive. With Olin Kreutz expected to see little, if any, action and Brian Johnson out, look for the Vikings to sneak their safeties up to both stop the run and pressure Orton into mistakes, much like they did at Soldier Field back in Week 5. The Vikings held the Bears to just 3 yards a rush and forced 3 turnovers. But thanks to the defense, the Bears were able to score 2 touchdowns on drives totaling just 4 yards. If this game meant something, the Bears would have the edge running the football, passing the football, and on defense, and I'd be picking them to win by 7 points. But with Grossman not expecting to see much action, and most of the regulars not seeing much action either, all these numbers pretty much go out the window. So I'm going to make it the Vikings by 7 points. I'm Brad Palmer, ABC 7 News.
Forget about a trip to Seattle. Forget about the Super Bowl. The Bears defense simply couldn't stop anyone. Carolina wins 29-21. Here's Brad Palmer for a final time from Soldier Field.
With Jim Belushi looking on, the Bears hoisted the division championship banner and then came out looking to notch their first playoff victory in 11 years. The Bears had only allowed 1 touchdown in their last 6 home games, but on the second play of the game, Steve Smith fought off Charles Tillman and went 58 yards to give Carolina a quick 7-0 lead. Later in the quarter, it was Jake Delhomme to Smith again, who wrestled the ball away from Tillman for a 46-yard gain that set up a field goal that made it 10-0.
I couldn't pull it in because it was a lot of, contact. I didn't have a great grip on it.
It took Rex Grossman a quarter and a half to find his rhythm. He connected for a number of big plays, and on fourth down, Adrian Peterson used his boarding house reach to cut the deficit to 13-7. The Bears scored again in the third quarter. A Carolina defender fell down, leaving Desmond Clark wide open, and it was 16-14 Carolina. But there was no stopping Steve Smith. He caught 12 passes for 218 yards and 2 touchdowns. Smith blew by reserve cornerback Chris Thompson to give the Panthers a 23-14 lead. The Bears got a huge break in the fourth quarter. Thomas Jones fumbled into the end zone for a touchback, but a personal foul on Carolina gave the Bears a second chance, and Jason McKee cashed it in to pull the Bears back to within 2. But Carolina came right back. Charles Tillman raced onto the field at the last second and appeared to have no clue on his assignment. Chris Mangum scored a gimme to make it 29-21.
It was a little communication problem back there in the back. We didn't have the right personnel that we wanted on the field.
Personnel foul up. I mean, it happens.
He did come out a little bit late, but that's not why he scored a touchdown. Just we messed up the technique is what happened more than anything else.
Well, it looked like he didn't know who this man was.
We messed the technique up. I'm not going to get into that, but I'll tell you right now, we messed the technique up.
With 2.5 minutes left, the Bears were still alive, but then Ken Lucas picked off a Rex Grossman pass and sent the Bears packing.
The only way to look at it is the learning experience and move on. And you know, we're all disappointed. I know all the fans are, and you know, it just makes us feel even worse.
We thought we prepared as well as we could. Obviously, we didn't. We thought the bye would help us. You know, obviously it didn't.
Maybe we shouldn't get a bye week anymore. Maybe that'll help us out. I don't know. It's frustrating.
There's no question Carolina was the better team today. They really beat the Bears in all facets of the game. But unlike 2001, when the Bears were bounced by Philadelphia, they're really in position to take the next step. For one thing, they got everybody back. And the other 3 teams in their division are all undergoing coaching changes. From Soldier Field, Brad Palmer, ABC 7 News.
Certainly can't pick Sunday's conference title games without consulting the professor, whose numbers haven't lied all year long. Here he is.
Stats may be for losers, but only for those who don't know which stats are relevant and which aren't. Most aren't, and yet I see them appear in stories all the time. My favorite stat is yards per pass play, which counts a sack as a pass play. It's net passing yards divided by attempts plus sacks. Total passing yards is for losers because teams that pass a lot are usually playing catch-up. The key is to pass when you want to, like Pittsburgh. Ben Roethlisberger is #1 in that key stat, and had he not missed 4 games, the Steelers wouldn't be saddled with the #6 seed. The 4 teams remaining in the playoffs all rank in the top 8 in yards per pass play, and in the top 5 in yards per pass play differential. Defensively, they all rank in the top 7 in points allowed. Of course, the NFL ranks defenses based on yards allowed, and as you can see, there's no correlation. Rex Grossman told me he considers third down passing efficiency a key stat. Nope. Offensively, only Carolina made the top 10. Defensively, nobody did. Troy Aikman has his own rating system and is highly regarded around the league. I don't know what his formula is, but his end result and mine are about the same. Both of us have the 4 finalists ranked among our top 6. My higher-ranked team is 7-1 in this year's playoffs, both straight up and against the spread. Aikman is 6-2 both ways, and both of us project the same outcomes for Sunday's games, Pittsburgh and Seattle. The numbers aren't always right, but they don't lie. Only people do that. I'm Brad Palmer, and class dismissed.
Good, because I got to go to the bathroom.